The phrase God is telling you to let them go and move on carries a profound emotional weight. It speaks to moments in our lives when we cling to relationships, situations, or ideas that no longer serve us. This isn't just about walking away, it's about listening to the deeper voice within, urging us to trust the process of release. In essence, it's about finding courage in endings and rediscovering ourselves in the space that letting go creates. Do you feel it? That quiet, unshakable whisper threading its way through the noise of your life. Maybe you don't notice it at first. It hides behind laughter, weaves itself into the silence after an argument, or floats in the stillness of midnight tears. But it's there. It has always been there. That whisper, soft but persistent, is trying to tell you something. And I want you to lean in, just for a moment, and listen. Sometimes we hold on tighter when we should loosen our grip. We tell ourselves it's loyalty, it's love, it's faithfulness. We convince ourselves that if we just endure a little longer, bend a little further, or stay a little quieter, things will change. They'll come back, or they'll see us the way we wish to be seen. We tell ourselves these stories because letting go feels too much like losing. But my dear, let me ask you this: if holding on is breaking you, is it truly holding on, or is it holding you back? You don't have to answer aloud, but I want you to sit with the question. Sit with it like you sit with a difficult truth, one that stings but somehow sets you free. Because that's what truth does, it sets you free. And maybe that's why you're here, listening now, drawn not by coincidence, but by divine design. Maybe that whisper has grown louder, more insistent, and you can no longer ignore it. Maybe it's telling you that it's time. Oh, I know it isn't easy. Letting go is not a straight line, it's a winding road, paved with memories, promises, and what-ifs. It's holding a hand and then feeling the weight of an empty palm. It's the aching silence after a familiar voice fades. It's walking away even when your heart wants to stay. But I promise you, there is strength in the leaving. There is grace in the goodbye. Now, let me tell you something that you might not want to hear but need to know. You are not defined by who stays or who leaves your life. You are not the sum of your broken pieces or the echoes of someone else's decisions. You are more. You are the sunrise after the longest night. You are the bloom in the midst of a storm. And my dear, you are the voice that says, I choose me. Still, I know how fear can grip you. Fear of being alone. Fear of the unknown. Fear that letting go means you'll never find someone as good as what you had. But let me tell you this: when you let go of what is not meant for you, you create space for what is. And what is meant for you will never require you to shrink yourself, to dim your light, or to betray your worth. You might feel guilt. That heavy, suffocating guilt that whispers, if you really cared, you'd stay, but guilt is not a compass. It's a weight, and it will tether you to places you've outgrown if you let it. Instead, listen to your heart. Not the aching part that clings to what was, but the courageous part that dreams of what could be. Because deep down, you already know what you need to do. You just need permission to feel what you feel, to want what you want, and to let go without looking back. Oh, and don't mistake letting go for failure. It's not giving up, it's stepping up. It's choosing growth over stagnation, peace over chaos, and self-love over self-destruction. It's saying, I deserve more than this, and believing it, even if your voice shakes when you say it. It's trusting that endings are not final, they are beginnings wrapped in disguise. And as you walk away, you might stumble, you might question your decision, feel the pull of nostalgia, or wonder if you made a mistake. That's natural. Change is messy and healing is not linear. But keep walking, keep moving forward. Because every step you take is a step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. And isn't that worth the journey? Now, I won't tell you that the road ahead will be easy. There will be moments when the weight of letting go feels unbearable. There will be days when you want to turn back, to cling to what feels familiar. But I need you to remember this: the familiar is not always the fulfilling. Comfort is not always the same as contentment. And safety is not always the same as happiness. Letting go is an act of faith. Faith in yourself, in your resilience, in your ability to rebuild and rediscover. Faith that what's waiting for you on the other side of this pain is greater than anything you've left behind. And faith, my dear, is not always loud or grand. Sometimes it's as quiet as a whisper, as simple as taking one step, then another and another after that. So as you stand at this crossroads, I want you to think about what you deserve. Not what you settle for, but what you truly deserve. Think about the love you want to give and the love you hope to receive. Think about the life you want to live, the peace you want to feel, and the freedom you crave. And then let go of anything or anyone that keeps you from it. Because you, my dear, are worthy. Worthy of joy, of love, of fulfillment. Worthy of all the beauty and abundance this life has to offer. And if someone or something is not adding to that, it's not a loss to let it go. It's a gift to yourself. The whisper you've been hearing is not asking you to abandon love or loyalty. It's asking you to honor yourself, to trust that endings are not punishments, but invitations to grow, to believe that letting go is not about giving up, but about stepping forward, and to remember that you are never truly alone, even in the letting go. So when the time comes, and you'll know when it does, release the grip, loosen the hold, let them go, not with bitterness, but with love, not with regret, but with hope. And as you do, watch how life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. Watch how the space you create becomes filled with light, with possibility, with everything you've been waiting for. Because, my dear, it's time to let go and move on. Let me take you deeper into this journey, because the act of letting go is not just about the decision, it is about the aftermath. It is about what happens when you walk away and the silence rushes in. That silence can feel deafening, can't it? Like an endless void stretching out before you. It feels like you're suspended between who you were and who you're becoming. And that place can feel lonely. But hear me when I say this, that space is sacred. It is not a punishment, it is a chrysalis. The world will tell you that moving on is about forgetting. It will demand you erase the memories, scrub away the tears, and pretend the hurt never happened. But you and I know better, don't we? Moving on is not about forgetting, it's about honoring. Honoring what was, honoring what you learned, and honoring the version of you that loved so deeply. You don't have to hate them to let them go. You don't have to burn every bridge or speak with venom in your voice. You can let go with gratitude, with grace, with an open heart that whispers, "Thank you for the lesson." But be careful here, my dear. Be careful not to romanticize the past to the point where you chain yourself to it. Nostalgia can be a thief if you let it. It will steal the present from you, leaving you yearning for a version of the past that never truly existed. It's easy to remember the good times, the laughter, the warmth. It's harder to confront the truth, the ways you felt unseen, unheard, unvalued. But if you're going to let go, you must see things as they are, not as you wish they were. You must tell yourself the truth, even when it hurts. And it will hurt. I won't lie to you. The pain of letting go can cut deep, like a wound you didn't know you carried. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is a teacher, a guide, a necessary companion on the road to healing. Feel it. Let it move through you. Cry if you need to, scream if you must, but do not suppress it. Do not shove it down where it festers and grows. Healing is messy, and it is human. You are human. Now, there will be days when you question your choice, days when you wonder if walking away was a mistake. You might look back and think, maybe I could have done more. Maybe I could have stayed a little longer. But let me remind you of something important. You made the best decision you could with the information you had at the time. You acted from a place of self-respect, of courage, of love for yourself. And that is never the wrong choice. Self-love is not selfish. It is not indulgent. It is necessary. Because how can you love others fully if you do not first love yourself? How can you give from an empty cup? Letting go is an act of self-love, a declaration that you are worthy of peace, of happiness, of a life unburdened by what no longer serves you. And isn't that what you deserve? A life that feels like yours, not a compromise, not a half measure, yours. And as you let go, you may find that some people won't understand. They might call you cold, accuse you of giving up, or try to pull you back into their orbit. But remember, their opinions are not your truth. Their judgments are not your reality. Only you know what you've endured, what you've sacrificed, what you've carried. Only you know the weight of your heart and the strength it takes to finally set it down. So let them think what they will. Your journey is not for them to approve, it is for you to live. As you walk this path, there will be signs, small, quiet affirmations that you're on the right track. Maybe it's the first morning you wake up and realize you're not thinking about them. Maybe it's the moment you laugh again, freely, without the shadow of the past lingering over you. Or maybe it's the way your shoulders feel lighter, your steps more confident, your heart more open. These are the milestones of healing, the evidence of your growth. Celebrate them, no matter how small they seem. Celebrate yourself. But don't rush the process. Don't try to speed through the pain or skip the hard parts. Healing takes time, and time cannot be forced. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle. Some days you'll feel strong, like you're finally breaking free. Other days you'll feel like you're back at square one. That's okay. Progress is not linear. What matters is that you keep moving, even if it's just one step at a time. Forward is forward. And while you're moving forward, take a moment to look around. Look at the people who stayed, the ones who stood by you even when you couldn't see your own worth. Look at the beauty in the world, the sun rising each morning, the trees standing tall, the sky stretching wide and endless. Life is still here waiting for you. Joy is still here waiting for you. You don't have to earn it. You just have to let yourself receive it. There is so much waiting for you on the other side of letting go. New connections, new opportunities, new dreams. But more than that, there is you. The you that has always been there, buried beneath the weight of what you are holding on to. The you that is resilient, radiant, whole. The you that doesn't need anyone else to complete them because they are already complete. That is the gift of letting go, the rediscovery of yourself. And when you do rediscover yourself, oh, what a sight it will be. You'll stand taller, speak clearer, love deeper. You'll walk into rooms and no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You'll embrace your power, your beauty, your worth. You'll realize that letting go was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one written by you for you. So take that step. Release the grip. Trust the whisper. And as you do, remember this, you are not just letting go, you are letting in. Letting in hope, letting in freedom, letting in the life you deserve. And that, my dear, is the greatest act of courage there is. Letting go is not an act you perform once, it is a practice, a discipline, a choice you make every single day. It is waking up in the morning and deciding again and again to release the grip on what you cannot control. It is catching yourself when your mind drifts back to the moments you wished had gone differently, the conversations you wished had ended on a kinder note, and saying to yourself, I did what I could with what I had. That's not weakness. That's not giving up. That's bravery. You see, so often we mistake holding on for strength. We equate endurance with resilience, as though the longer we can carry the weight of something or someone, the stronger we become. But strength isn't about how much you can carry, it's about knowing when to set the weight down. It's about recognizing that some burdens are not yours to bear, no matter how much you might wish otherwise. That's strength. That's wisdom. That's love, the kind of love that begins with you. And isn't that the love we all deserve? The love that nurtures rather than depletes, that uplifts rather than undermines, that feels like home rather than a battlefield. It starts with the love you show yourself, the boundaries you set, the promises you keep to your own heart. Because letting go isn't just about leaving something behind, it's about stepping into something better. It's about making space in your life, your heart, and your mind for what truly belongs there. But let's not romanticize the process, shall we? Letting go is not neat or tidy. It's not something you can plan or control. It's messy. It's unpredictable. One day you'll feel like you've moved on completely, like the weight has finally lifted. And the next, a song, a scent, or a passing thought will bring everything rushing back, and you'll feel like you're starting over. That's not failure. That's healing. And healing, my dear, is not a straight path. It's a winding road full of detours and potholes and moments when you think you'll never get where you're going. But you will. The truth is, you already are. Every time you choose to let go of a thought that doesn't serve you, every time you redirect your energy towards something that does, you are healing. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, to go back, to reopen a door that was closed for a reason, you are healing. And healing is not just about fixing what's broken, it's about building something new, something stronger, something that can withstand the storms of life without crumbling. You may not see it yet, but the very act of letting go is reshaping you. It's teaching you things you could never learn if you stayed in the same place, clinging to the same people, the same stories, the same pain. It's teaching you to trust yourself, to trust life, to trust that even when it feels like everything is falling apart, something beautiful is being born in the rubble. But you have to give it time. You have to give it space. You have to give it your faith. And faith, my dear, is not the absence of fear. It's not the absence of doubt or pain or longing. Faith is the choice to keep going anyway. To believe that there is a purpose to the pain, even if you can't see it yet. To trust that the endings you're experiencing are not punishments but redirections. Faith is what carries you through the dark nights, the lonely mornings, the moments when you feel like giving up. It's what reminds you that you are not alone in this, even when it feels like you are. Because you're not alone. You never have been. There is a strength within you, a light, a voice that has been guiding you all along. You may not always recognize it, but it's there. It's the part of you that knows when it's time to let go, even when your heart resists. It's the part of you that whispers you deserve more than this, even when you're not sure you believe it. That voice is your compass, your anchor, your guide. Trust it. Trust yourself. And as you trust yourself, you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll start to notice the beauty that was always there, the opportunities you couldn't see when you were focused on what you were losing. You'll realize that the space you created by letting go wasn't empty after all. It was waiting to be filled with something better. Something that aligns with who you are and where you're going. Something that feels like it was meant for you all along. But here's the thing about letting go. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you erase the love, the memories, the lessons. It means you carry them differently. You carry them with gratitude instead of grief, with wisdom instead of regret. You carry them as part of your story, not the whole of it. Because your story is not defined by who or what you've let go of. It's defined by what you choose to hold on to. So what will you hold on to, my dear? Will it be the fear of the unknown or the hope of what's to come? Will it be the pain of the past or the promise of the future? Will it be the version of yourself that stayed small to fit into someone else's world, or the version of yourself that stands tall in your own? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. And as you make that choice, remember this: you are not broken. You are not incomplete. You are not defined by who stayed or who left, by what worked out or what didn't. You are whole. You are enough. You are worthy of a love and a life that feels like freedom. And letting go is not the end of that journey. It is the beginning. So take a deep breath. Feel the weight of the past, the present, the future. Feel it all and then let it go. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you do. Because you are worth the peace, the joy, the possibility that comes with moving on. And because in the end, letting go is not about what you lose, it's about what you gain. And what you gain, my dear, is everything. There is a tenderness in letting go that often goes unnoticed. It's not just about the grand gestures or the decisive moments, it's also about the quiet ways we release. It's in the moments when we choose not to send that text, not to look at old photos, not to replay conversations in our heads. It's in the way we learn to sit with the discomfort of missing someone without acting on it. The way we begin to understand that longing doesn't have to be a call to action. It can simply be a feeling that passes, like clouds drifting across the sky. And in that tenderness, there is strength. Not the kind of strength that roars or demands attention, but the kind that endures. The kind that allows you to hold your own heart gently, to be patient with your process. To remind yourself that healing is not a race. It is a journey, and it unfolds in its own time, its own way. Some days it will feel like progress. Other days it will feel like standing still. But even in the stillness, there is movement. Even in the quiet, there is growth. You may find yourself surprised by the things that trigger your memories, your emotions. A song playing in the background of a cafe. The way the light hits a certain corner of your room. The scent of rain on the pavement. These moments can feel like ambushes, sudden and overwhelming, pulling you back into places you thought you'd left behind. But they are not meant to harm you. They are reminders of the depth of your capacity to feel, to love, to remember. And just as they come, they will go. Like waves crashing against the shore, they will recede, leaving you standing stronger, steadier, more sure of yourself. There will also be moments of joy, small but profound. The first time you laugh without hesitation. The first time you feel excitement about something new. The first time you realize you went a whole day or even an hour without thinking about what you let go of. These moments are victories, even if they seem insignificant at first. They are proof that life is still unfolding, that beauty still exists, that you are still capable of finding light even after the darkest nights. You might discover parts of yourself you didn't know were there, pieces that had been hidden beneath the weight of what you were carrying. Maybe it's a passion you had forgotten, a dream you had put on hold, or a strength you didn't realize you possessed. Letting go is not just about releasing, it's about reclaiming. Reclaiming the parts of you that were neglected, overlooked, or sacrificed. It's about coming home to yourself, piece by piece, moment by moment. And as you come home to yourself, you'll notice something remarkable. The more you let go of what no longer serves you, the more you attract what does. It's as though the universe, or whatever force you believe in, recognizes your willingness to create space and begins to fill it with people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your truest self. It may not happen all at once, but it will happen. Slowly, steadily, surely your life will begin to reflect the person you are becoming. You'll look back one day, perhaps sooner than you expect, and realize how far you've come. You'll see the strength it took to let go, the courage it took to move on, and you'll feel proud not of what you left behind, but of what you stepped into. You'll understand that letting go wasn't an end, it was a beginning. And beginnings, my dear, are where all the magic happens. Letting go is not about forgetting or erasing, it's about transforming. It's about taking the pain, the lessons, the love, and turning them into something new. It's about honoring where you've been while embracing where you're going. It's about trusting that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. Because every step you take, every breath, every choice to move forward is leading you towards something greater. So, as you navigate this process, remember to be kind to yourself. You are doing something incredibly brave, something many people never find the strength to do. You are choosing yourself, your future, your happiness. And that choice, no matter how hard it feels in the moment, is the foundation of a life filled with freedom, joy, and love, the kind of love that begins with you and radiates outward to everything you touch. Letting go does not announce itself loudly. It does not arrive in a neat package with clear instructions. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, like the way leaves slowly turn from green to gold in the fall. You might not even notice the shift at first, the gradual unspooling of what you once held so tightly. But one day you'll wake up and realize that the grip you thought was unbreakable has softened, that the weight you believed was permanent has lifted just enough for you to stand a little straighter, to breathe a little deeper. And yet, even as this quiet transformation unfolds, there will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the old familiar feelings knock at your door. These feelings are not your enemies. They are part of the process, a sign that you are fully human. The urge to return to what is familiar, even when it hurts you, is deeply ingrained. It's the pull of what you've known, the comfort of routine, the safety of the past, no matter how flawed it was. But comfort and growth cannot coexist for long. Eventually, you must choose cling to the safety of what was, or step into the uncertainty of what could be. The stepping forward may feel like walking through fog, unsure of where the path leads. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The possibility, the potential, the freedom to create something entirely new, unshackled by the chains of what didn't work, of who didn't stay, of what couldn't be. It's an invitation to dream again, to imagine a life where you are no longer bound by old patterns, by the weight of others' expectations, by the limitations you once placed on yourself. It's the beginning of becoming. And becoming is not a destination, it is a constant evolution. Each day you are reshaping yourself in ways you may not yet understand. Each decision to move forward, no matter how small, is a declaration of your resilience, a testament to your strength. And strength, my dear, is not the absence of vulnerability, it is the ability to embrace it. It is the courage to say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to find them. I don't know where this path leads, but I trust myself to walk it. Trusting yourself can be the hardest part, especially if the road behind you is littered with moments of doubt, with mistakes, with choices you wish you could undo. But let me tell you something about those moments. They are not failures. They are lessons. Each one has shaped you, refined you, prepared you for this very moment. They have given you the tools you need to navigate the road ahead, even if it feels uncertain. You are not starting from scratch, you are starting from experience. And that makes all the difference. Still, there will be voices, internal and external, that try to convince you otherwise. Voices that tell you it's too late, that you're too broken, that you'll never find what you're looking for. These voices are not the truth. They are echoes of fear, of insecurity, of the stories you've been told and the ones you've told yourself. You don't have to believe them. You can rewrite those stories. You can replace those voices with your own, with one that says, I am enough. I am worthy. I am capable of creating a life that feels good to me. And as you write this new story, remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion, a moving target that will only keep you stuck. What matters is that it's yours, that it reflects your desires, your values, your dreams, not anyone else's. This is your life, and you have the right to live it on your terms. You have the right to choose what stays and what goes, what you hold on to and what you release. And in that choosing, you reclaim your power. Reclaiming your power is not about control, it's about alignment. It's about aligning your actions with your truth, your choices with your values, your life with your essence. It's about saying yes to what lights you up and no to what dims your light. It's about recognizing that you are the author of your own story and you get to decide how it unfolds. That doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks, those are inevitable. But it does mean you will face them from a place of strength, of clarity, of self-assuredness. And when those challenges come, as they always do, you will find that you are more equipped to handle them than you once were. Because letting go is not just about releasing the past, it's about building the future. It's about cultivating resilience, about learning to trust yourself, about discovering that you are capable of withstanding more than you ever thought possible. Each time you let go, you strengthen the muscles of courage, of faith, of self-love. And those muscles will carry you through whatever lies ahead. You might find that as you grow stronger, you start to attract different kinds of people, different kinds of opportunities. The ones who are aligned with the version of you that is emerging, the version that knows their worth, that values their peace, that refuses to settle for less than they deserve. These people, these opportunities, will feel like home in a way that nothing before them ever did. They will remind you of what you've been moving toward all along, even when the path felt unclear. But be patient with this process. Be patient with yourself. Growth is not linear, and healing does not happen on a timeline. There will be days when you feel like you're moving backward, when the weight of what you've let go of feels too heavy to bear. On those days, remind yourself that progress is not measured by how far you've come, but by your willingness to keep going. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the hardest steps are often the most transformative. And in the moments when it feels too much, when you're tempted to turn back, remember why you started. Remember the version of yourself that made the brave decision to let go, to move on, to choose something better. That version of you is still here, still guiding you, still rooting for you. And they would be so proud of how far you've come, even if you can't see it yet. They would remind you that every tear, every moment of doubt has been worth it. Because it's leading you to a life that feels like freedom, like joy, like love. You are not the same person you were when you began this journey. You are stronger, wiser, more open. You have grown in ways you may not yet fully understand, and that growth is a testament to your resilience, to your courage, to your unshakable belief that you are worthy of more. And you are. You always have been. Letting go doesn't create your worth, it reveals it. It strips away the layers of doubt and fear and conditioning to show you the truth of who you are. And who you are is enough. More than enough. You are deserving of a life that feels good, of relationships that feel nourishing, of experiences that feel fulfilling. You are deserving of all the things you've been too afraid to ask for, too afraid to believe you could have. And letting go is the first step toward claiming them. It is an act of faith, not in anyone else, but in yourself. In your ability to create a life that feels like home. In your ability to find joy even after heartbreak, to find light even after darkness, to find yourself even after losing so much. And as you move forward, step by step, remember that this journey is not just about the destination. It's about the transformation that happens along the way. It's about the ways you learn to love yourself, to trust yourself, to celebrate yourself. It's about the strength you build, the peace you find, the joy you create. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be, the person who is not defined by what they've lost, but by what they've gained. And what you've gained, my dear, is everything. Letting go is a dialogue with your soul, a quiet conversation between who you are and who you are becoming. It is not a single decision, but a series of moments when you choose freedom over familiarity, peace over turmoil, and self-love over self-sacrifice. These choices might not come easily. They might feel like tearing pieces of yourself away from the life you once imagined. But with each piece you release, you create space for something truer, something that aligns with the essence of who you are and the life you're meant to live. You may find yourself caught between the past and the future, straddling the line between what you know and what you don't yet understand. This in-between space can feel uncomfortable, even unbearable at times. It is a liminal space, a threshold where transformation happens. You are no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. It's tempting to rush through this phase, to find quick answers or distractions to fill the void. But this space is sacred. It is where the seeds of your new life take root, where you begin to redefine yourself and your path. In the quiet of this in-between, you will hear whispers of your deepest truths. They may come as fleeting thoughts, subtle nudges, or a persistent feeling that won't be ignored. These truths are your guideposts, your internal compass pointing you toward the life that is waiting for you. They might challenge you, push you, even scare you, but they will also free you. Because deep down, you already know what you need to release, what no longer serves you, what keeps you tethered to a version of yourself that no longer fits. Trust that knowing, even when it feels uncertain. There will be moments when you feel like looking back, like reopening the doors you worked so hard to close. This longing is natural, a part of the grieving process that comes with letting go. But remember, you are not the same person who once stood behind those doors. You have outgrown what lies on the other side, even if the memories still hold a certain tenderness. You don't have to deny the love, the joy, or the lessons you experienced. They are part of your story. But they are not your whole story, and the chapters ahead hold more than you can imagine. The process of letting go will reveal not only the strength within you, but also the beauty of what lies beyond your fears. You'll start to notice the quiet gifts life offers, the laughter of a stranger, the warmth of the sun on your face, the peace of a moment spent in stillness. These small, fleeting moments will remind you that joy is not a destination but a practice, a choice you make every day to be present with what is rather than what was. They will remind you that life goes on, and so do you. You will also begin to see how much you have gained through the act of release. You have gained clarity about what matters to you, about the kind of life you want to build, about the people you want to surround yourself with. You have gained a deeper understanding of your worth and the unwavering truth that you deserve love, respect, and kindness, not just from others, but from yourself. And you have gained the freedom to start anew, to create a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and true to who you are. This freedom is not without responsibility. It asks you to be intentional with your choices, to honor the lessons you've learned, to protect the peace you fought so hard to find. It asks you to hold yourself accountable for your own happiness, to stop waiting for someone or something else to complete you. Because the truth is, you are already complete. You are whole, even in your brokenness. You are enough, even in your imperfections. And you are capable, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. As you step forward, you may find that the world feels different, brighter, lighter, more open. This is not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are no longer carrying the weight of what you couldn't control, the burden of what wasn't meant for you. You are free to move through life with a sense of curiosity and wonder, to embrace the unknown with a heart that is open and willing to receive. And in this openness, you will find opportunities you never dreamed possible, connections that feel like home, and moments that remind you why it was worth it to let go. The journey of letting go is not about arriving at a place where you no longer feel pain or loss. It is about learning to hold those feelings with grace, to honor them without being consumed by them, to let them shape you without letting them define you. It is about recognizing that every ending carries within it the seeds of a new beginning, and that even in the midst of heartache, there is hope. Hope for what is to come, for who you are becoming, for the life that is unfolding before you. So keep going, even when it feels hard, even when the past calls to you like a familiar song. Keep choosing yourself, your peace, your future. Keep trusting that the act of letting go is not a loss, but a gift of freedom, of possibility, of transformation. And as you continue to let go, you will find that the life you've been searching for is not ahead of you or behind you. It is within you, waiting to be lived. And so, my dear, as you walk forward on this path of letting go, know that it is not an end, but a powerful beginning. The courage to release what no longer serves you is a testament to the love you hold for yourself and the life you are creating. You are not defined by what you have lost, but by what you choose to embrace. In every step forward, you reclaim your strength, your peace, and your joy. Trust the process, honor the journey, and remember what awaits you is more beautiful than anything you leave behind.